One of the biggest complaints for many in Season 4 is the scarcity of gold. And today, I'm gonna tell you why everybody's broke, how to farm for gold efficiently, and my personal opinion on the topic. Hey everyone, Chaotic Bob here, and in this video, we're gonna talk about gold. If you want to see more videos for Diablo 4, subscribe to the channel. Gold became a big problem for many in Season 4, and it is a hot topic at the moment. The reason is because once you get into World Tier 3 and 4 is when you usually start building your character more seriously. You get the Paragon board and start min-maxing it, you start putting jewels in your gear, you start switching affixes, tempering, masterworking, and inserting aspects. In order for you to interact with most of these mechanics in the mid-game, you need to spend gold, and it's not cheap. As an example, for a single piece, it's going to cost you $500,000 to insert an aspect. And you can end up spending millions changing a single affix. This suddenly becomes a problem when you realize that per class, with a couple of exceptions, you have 10 pieces of gear that you can equip. Helm, chest piece, gloves, leg gear, boot, main hand, offhand, 2 rings, and an amulet. So if you want to make a reasonably good build, you're going to spend millions. Add to this that you will be adding aspects and changing affixes as you level up. You're at least going to deal with this mechanics 3 times. In World Tier 3, early in Tier 4, and late in Tier 4. And the problem isn't interacting with the mechanics, since it is a fun part of building your character. In many people's eyes, it is a problem because they cannot interact with the mechanics, because they always find themselves broke. So to alleviate this, let me show you some ways to earn gold fast and easy. Many people after finishing a nightmare dungeon usually go straight to the blacksmith and they click on the dismantle all button. And they realize after that they don't have any gold. And I don't blame them, because this kind of became muscle memory for a lot of people. They're farming nightmare dungeons, fill their inventory with loot, go to town, mark everything as junk, go to the blacksmith, and they dismantle everything to go back to their leveling. And here you might say, well, if you need gold, don't dismantle and just sell everything. But I just think to myself, why not do both? When I sell and dismantle, I usually go with this process or something similar. Doesn't matter on the order. First, I'll go to the blacksmith and I'll quickly identify what I'm dismantling. I identify the gear with this little icon on the top right corner that signifies that this piece of equipment can be dismantled for my codex. What that means is that when I dismantle it, it'll level up that specific aspect in my codex. And as I level it up, it'll give me more and more stats. After I dismantled, I'm now marking all the rare gear as junk. This will help me focus on the pieces of gear that I actually want to take a look at. If I see any uniques, I'll leave them alone and I'll stash them until I find a better role for those uniques. I'm staying in the stash and now I'm going to deposit any legendary that has a greater affix. Gear with greater affixes will have this symbol on the top. The reason why I keep gear with greater affixes is because these are very hard to come by, and who knows, I might need it with a different build. Next, I focus on the remaining legendary gear. I'll first mark everything that is not level 925 as junk. In this case, everything is level 925, so I'll skip this step. After I identify all the gear that is level 925, then I'll start looking at the affixes, and for me to consider keeping a piece of gear, it needs to have at least 2 affixes that I'm looking for. If it doesn't meet with the requirements, I'll mark them as junk. The reason why I'm keeping gear with 2 affixes is because I can go with the occultist and change the remaining affix for something that I'm actually looking for. After I'm done identifying the gear that I want to sell, I'll sell everything. Now before you say what you're about to say, let me tell you this, it's not a big deal. Yes my friend, you're going to have to pick up rare gear if you want to have some money in your pocket. Some people might think that it's a problem, some might say that it's not a big deal. That's an easy way to get some gold. But if you still find yourself broke, the next easiest way to get gold is to do whispers. Whispers are the best way to get gold because per whisper cache, you get 5 million gold, which is a very decent amount of gold. And if you do not want to stop your leveling to go farm whispers, here's my biggest recommendation that I can give you. As you're doing nightmare dungeons, just put an alarm on your phone 3 minutes before every legion or world boss event. Every Legion event gives you 3 Grim Favor, and these take about 5 minutes to complete. They also give good loot and are fun to do. And world bosses can be as short as 10 seconds for 5 Grim Favor. In a couple of hours of game time, almost passively you can get yourself a Whisper cache and kill 2 birds with 1 stone. Get some gold while you're leveling to adjust the gear that you might want, and get a decent amount of XP with a Whisper turn-in. Now if you still find yourself running short on gold, the next thing to do is to actually target farm Whispers. There's one Whisper that'll take you about 2 minutes to finish, each for Grim Favor. And that is the Seething Abomination Whisper. There is one on each PvP zone, so that right there is an easy Whisper cache that you can do, I believe, daily. Also be on the lookout for the Blood Maiden Whisper in the Helltide. This give you 5 Grim Favor and are not too bad. Maybe they'll take you a maximum of 5 minutes, but they are very good because they also drop a lot of loot. Plus, if you also need Iron Wolf's reputation, you're progressing that as well. And for another 5 easy Grim Favors, what I want you to do is look for a Harvest Whisper. This will take you around 5 minutes to complete, but you will usually find a couple of extra easy Whispers that'll take you 30 seconds to complete. The ideal combo in my opinion is a Harvest Whisper with a Seller and a Corpse Whisper. Those right there will take you about 5 minutes to complete, all 3 for 5 Grim Favor. Now if we go to our Season tab in our Seasonal Blessings, we have the urn that'll increase the probability of getting a greater Whisper cache, which in my opinion is a no-brainer after you maxed out the Urn of XP and Glyph XP. Greater caches will give you better rewards, and every time you see this reward, especially the Greater Cache of Chaos, it has to be a no-brainer for you. Now before I end the video, I want to share my thoughts on the gold dilemma. Do I really think it's a problem, or are people blowing it out of proportion? Honestly, I don't think it's a big problem if we have to go a little out of our way to get gold. There is a lot of fun content in the game to do that if you're hyper-focused on Nightmare Dungeons, you're gonna miss out on. World bosses, Legion events, and the new Blood Maiden event are all very fun and easy to do, and to finish them is gonna take you 5 minutes of your time. And you should see it as something positive instead of being something negative. I try to see these events as a little break from Nightmare Dungeons, and to be honest, I think this isn't really a problem. It probably is if you're a speedrunner or a blaster, and for them maybe gold needs to be adjusted, but in a very small scale. I would say 10% more gold per Nightmare Dungeon and we can go from there. That actually might be enough. And that's all for this video guys. If it was entertaining or useful, please leave a like, it really helps out. And if you want to see more videos for Diablo 4, subscribe to the channel. Thank you for watching and I'll see you in the next one. Later.